Did you get your precious photos?
Someone was there.
Men? Police? Men?
For like what was called homemade grape juice, which was basically just wine. And one day my mom had to go pick it up, and like you knock at the front door and give a code word, and then you go around the back, and then there's like a basement you go down, and then they bring out these big barrels of like wine, like just bootleg wine. Yeah, it's all like small time mob shit.
Grape juice.
Code
Yeah,
word.
grape juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the code word? Fucking Welch's.
Probably like the clouds are gray today, and then it was like,
Yeah.
all right, you're in. And then,
Mhm.
Jesus.
Yeah. So fucking mobsters. That's pretty cool. The Sopranos. I was thinking about that show recently as something that I should revisit. So I'm excited to hear that you're
so
revisiting
fucking
it.
good. Like,
Yeah.
good on more levels than I expected. I hence the reason I haven't watched it since it came out. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I remember
I'm really happy.
the first season. I remember, like, it was funny. I watched it with my grandmother, and she was fucking into it. She was hilarious, and but that was great stuff. I mean, I was just a kid though. Like, I must have been. I don't know when it came out. Did it, like, was I 8? I feel The
98,
Sopranos is older
99?
than. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we go.
I think
So
The Sopranos was one of the shows too that like turned the tide for like extreme violence and language, like for HBO. Like I think they always had that edge,
mhm.
you know. But that show sort of like it was like, oh, you can mainstream this shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, and,
you know,
like,
they give.
throw so much at the audience that people just like, they just kind of become desensitized to it. So it's great.
No, and it's funny, and like, it's everybody loves a mobster show. Like, it's basically taking Scorsese and turning it into kind of a sitcom, you
Oh
know?
yeah, totally. It's Goodfellas made into a series, like,
Yeah.
and sitcom, like you said too. Like,
Yeah.
it's more than just the serious mob shit.
Yeah, because it's a funny basic, like, premise. I think I was thinking about psychologists, like people with anxiety disorders, and then I bumped on over to Tony Soprano talking to the therapist whose name I completely forget.
Melfi,
Her name's Malfi?
Jennifer Melfi. Yeah.
Oh,
What part of the boot you from?
Oh, fuck. You're lagging a bit there, Adam.
Oh really?
Am I liking or am I chopping? I don't know. No, Adam
I
sounds good to me.
Oh, does he? Well, as long as he sounds good to you, because
Where are
you're
you? What are you doing? Where are you in the shed?
I'm in the shed, but everything's fine on my end. You sound
Everything's
fine.
fine in the shed. Don't judge the shed.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, the shed is not the problem. It's never been the problem.
Whoa.
So defensive about the shed.
I love anxiety. It's great.
Yeah. Well, fuck. Yeah. So I guess maybe we'll move on to our topic. That's, speaking of anxiety, concerns about the future and modernity.
Yeah, speaking of anxiety, if fucking Rutger Hauer ever ran at me with his shirt off at any age.
Yeah, we're talking about Blade Runner today in our ongoing quest to find the Terminator. This movie, along with Alien, are said by James Cameron to be, like, inspirational for Terminator. So, we're digging in. I mean, I really see it. I think it's pretty. Speaking of Rutger Hauer, like, that's the Terminator. It's a much more elegant Terminator, of course, but
He has a fancier Terminator.
yeah, he's the fancy one. Yeah, what I don't have a great affection for this movie. I really admire it, but I've
You didn't
probably
like
only
it?
no, I've just never loved it. I like, some people watch this movie and they fucking love it, right? And like, I just never fell in love with this movie. I think it's fantastic, and yeah, maybe this is like the third time I've ever seen it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, some people have watched it a fuck ton of times, but I'm just not one of them. You've seen
I've
this, Adam?
watched it a lot. This is only my second time seeing it, actually.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
liked it a lot better than the first time, actually. Yeah. Don't know if I love it yet, but I really want to watch it again now. I don't know why. I'm oddly drawn to it. It was much better than the first time I saw it. So now I'm wondering if the third time is gonna sort of add to that. But yeah, I've got some thoughts on it, but we'll get into it.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe it'll unlock. Similarly, my experience this time was greater than my previous experiences. I think it does grow. Like you spend some time with it, and you're like, holy fuck, this movie, like they're doing a lot with this movie. Like there's just so much going on, and you're really struck by it. And actually, I got to thinking about Star Wars and that sort of immersive universe aspect, and even like dirty futuristic technology. Only
It's
this
so
is
dirty.
yeah.
Yeah, I lost or I don't think that I don't think I noticed how much was going on in it when I was younger.
Mhm.
But even this time there's a lot that went over my head and went kind of past me that I'd probably like you said, I'd probably benefit from 2 or 3 viewings of it again. I don't know. But it kind of like has like a basic cop drama, like if you don't want to read into it, like if you don't want to read into the religious subtext and stuff like that, like you can just have a cop drama if you want, in the grimy future.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. The mixing, like it is like they've got flying cars, and you're hovering into the city, and it's like this endless refinery. Like there's fucking flames going into the sky, and you're like, Jesus Christ. And then, but all the interiors, and this isn't rocket science to say, but it's all like film noir. It's like you're coming into the 30s or 40s in a lot of these interiors, particularly police interiors. Like when he goes to visit the cops, you're like, Jesus Christ, did we jump into a time machine? Yeah, and so
you're in like a
frosted
1950s
window.
police office or a police precinct where everyone's smoking and talking shit. They're all
Yeah.
sweaty and exhausted.
What were you gonna say, Adam?
Yeah, no, it just has that like griminess to it, right? Like, it's like very futuristic, but yeah, when they're in when Decker gets pulled into the guy's office early on in the movie, it's just like the typical like PI kind of style, like frosted glass windows and like I don't know, you got flying cars, but you still have to like turn the knob to open a door. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, they don't. I love that cop, like the chief cop, Emmett Walsh.
That's bad. What a fucker.
Yeah, a lot of great actors in this. Like, I think that's another thing that Ridley's excellent at. We're actually, I don't know, did I say that we're doing the final cut? That's the one we're looking at today. The Blade Runner is a very unstable text. There's lots of different versions of it out there. Anyway, Emmett Walsh, the guy who plays J.F. Sebastian, Rutger Hauer, fucking Tyrell, the guy like Joe Turkel. That guy's like, that's just has the weirdest facial structure. And they just like, it just really adds to, you just want to watch everybody doing stuff. And Harrison Ford, obviously. It's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was so second time around watching it, I noticed how much more some of the movies that I really like from the past like 20, 30 years have been influenced by this. So obviously, like especially like the last kind of scene with Roy and Decker, and he's kind of like there's like almost like a kind of like a stalking going on, or like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like Decker's really not up for the fight. Like he knows this isn't going to be a good fight. I kind of thought of The Matrix, Mr. Anderson, and like that subway scene.
Oh yeah.
It's just kind of like that. Like fuck, I got to do this, but like there's not really maybe the redemption that Neo has. The other movie that really kind of popped in my mind was The Fifth Element, kind of that Art Deco kind of like. It doesn't have as much as like a dirty futuristic feel to it, like in Fifth Element, but like I kind of feel like there's a lot of influence from Blade Runner.
I think you're probably right, but I think there's also an indirect influence that connects the two. Luc Besson, French director of Fifth Element, if I remember correctly, he's into comics, and this movie drew heavily from heavy metal comics, Metal Hurlant, and I think that's what they have in common. But and so it, but you're probably right. I mean, like at the very least, Ridley set the stage for like how you craft a world like this, how you make it so fucking monumental and busy. And that's definitely something that those movies have in common.
Yeah, and like you said, it creates an immersive universe, right? Like you kind of meet all these characters along the way, and I've always kind of loved movies that do that. Like again, The Matrix is one of them. Star Wars is another one that like you really just kind of get a glimpse of it, but you're really, as a viewer, you're really kind of entranced by it too. Like you want to sort of know more about it. And I mean, we'll talk about the Onion later, but it was just sort of like I kind of want to see more. I want to know more about this universe, and that to me is a good sign for a movie like that. I'm kind of hooked.
Yeah, and I think the there's their fandom deeply connected to Blade Runner. But there was probably a bunch of offshoot novels and stuff like that. I think it produced a franchise that maybe we're not familiar with, but because I think a lot of people felt the same way. I might be wrong about that. There's definitely video games.
Yeah, one of the weird things too for me watching this was that, like you guys were saying, was the world building, but just the visuals. Like he achieved this in a weird year, like when nobody had. I don't know that anybody was able to show a futuristic world like this, like at this time. Like even when Terminator dropped and stuff, like they didn't. Nobody showed the future to look like this was a full, complete, like I was in a city in the future that stood up special effects wise today also. But it was like the only thing you could see get anything to look like this at all would have been like in an anime, maybe like Akira or something. But nobody, I don't think anybody to that date had built anything like that, like that you could see a city like that in the future. And I think that's like
I don't think so. I mean, I feel that you're right. I haven't watched all the movies from 1982.
I guess you could throw rocks at me and say, yeah, this movie. But I mean, like I'd hesitate to imagine that any of them displayed it this well at this time.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like it feels true. I just,
Yeah, I'm not again.
Might be maybe someone out there is throwing popcorn at it.
That's speculative, I guess. And the crazy cast. Big fan of William Sanderson, by the way.
Oh yeah.
You like him?
He's from Deadwood.
Yeah. He's also the sheriff in True Blood. Big True Blood fan right here.
Oh shit.
You guys might not be into that, but I got all the seasons.
He's the sheriff. That's funny. That's about vampires.
He's like
shit,
this,
right?
like kind of. Yeah, he's this like sort of like he's bumbling, but he has like well, everybody around him is kind of a bumbler, but he has like an undertone of like dangerous intelligence, but he's like very meek. Is a cool character for that show also. But he has I mean, I feel like he can only be typecast in a way, because of his stature and the way that he speaks. But, but he's a cool actor, I think so. For sure.
Yeah. So I don't know what. I don't know. Fuck. So what do we think of Deckard? Let's start that main guy.
Deckard's a piece of shit. He's basic. He's nothing special. He's just like a skilled mercenary. I'm not even sure that like the story really builds like for him at all. He gets he gets sewered by the police chief, right? Who basically hires he doesn't really hire him. He offers to hire him, and then when he says fuck off, he basically says you have to, or we'll just run you down. I guess
actually
implication.
Yeah, I wanted to emphasize how he says it. It's like, remember, pal, if you're not a cop, you're little people. And that's like, and he doesn't say anything more than that. And so then Harrison Ford looks over, so I got no choice, right? Because he knows the code. You're going to be like and we can talk about this as well. All those Asian people down there. You'll be something that we can just push around and manipulate, and choice is yours. And that's what gets him into the action in this movie. He's quite happy to just have noodles and read a newspaper, which it's funny that it would exist in the 2019, right?
Yeah, it's so weird. There's so much like futurism in this movie, like flying cars and stuff. And everyone's like reading newspapers, and there's one scene where he's lying in bed and he's got all these books behind him, and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of a weird vision of the future.
I don't know. For me, it holds true though. It's for me, the closer we get to a dystopian future, which let's face it, we're living in the foothold of right now, thanks to our glorious billionaire leaders. I sense that eventually it's just going to be this grimy futuristic mess, but like low tech stuff is still going to be around because people are going to be poor. So I mean, really, this future seems like fairly accurate. As far as I'm concerned. Eventually, we'll have like sex bots and robots doing work for us, and everyone will just be poor, living on some kind of social assistance and eating fucking ramen noodles and reading newspapers. I don't see that being untrue.
It's funny that the way you talk about the city is something that accretes. Others have recognized this, and they talk about the city as sort of science fiction as retrofitting. They never get rid of the original infrastructure. They just build shit on top of it. And
there you go.
That's Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic. How so?
Yeah, you just build a fancy city on top of the undercity.
Yeah, like all the like shit lives underneath, and then as you get higher up, it's
all the poor people and bums and bars and mercenaries are down in the lower city, and then they just built a fancier city on top, upper city north. That's where all the rich people live. Put a couple guards at the door, and that's it.
Another influence of Blade Runner. You probably don't have that without Blade Runner.
Good point.
Yeah. So one thing it doesn't anticipate is the digitization of the world. They still have photographs. Like when's the last time?
Print a hard copy.
Yeah, right. No one does that.
What the fuck? No, like just put it on your phone. Take it around with you. Like you have this computer that can zoom in 1,000,000 times on and find like some lady lying in a bed with a tattoo on her neck, and you're like, oh, I need a photograph.
Yeah,
it was kind of weird. But it's 1982.
But the thing that they do anticipate is voice activation. Every machine is spoken to. They're never flipping dials and shit like that. It's all very, you're talking to Siri, they're talking to Alexa, and that helps this movie ring true, I think, because once people are fucking with dials and stuff, they never get it right. They never see what the future is going to look like as far as dials and knobs and shit go. See Alien, right?
We watched Alien very recently. Also, I don't know if you have recently, Adam, but I don't know if you noticed the amount of alien sound effects in this movie.
In Blade Runner?
Yeah, in Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Like actual like the exact same sound effects for like computers running, and just like background noises and stuff like that to sort of make eerie futuristic sounds, and they were the same. Yeah.
So the background noise, that's something actually that I really caught on to early on in the movie, how it plays such a great part in building sort of the suspense or anxiety in the scene. Mm-hmm. Even that first scene where they're interviewing, I can't remember the replicant's name.
Leon?
Dwayne? No,
I think it's Leon.
Leon, yeah. And there's like the background has like a heartbeat, but there's like they have this like almost like, and it looks like a pump, like an air pump that's just
right.
And he's asking these questions, that air pump is going, and it's kind of helping build the suspense. And there's another scene where Deckard is chasing that one replicant that has a snake around her, and kind of going through that crowded scene, and they have like the walk sign on the streetlights, and it's like, I can't remember what it says, but it's like, it's really like, walk now, walk now, walk.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah.
And it's like, stop, and like it's just kind of like it adds to it. Like, there's no music, there's no score, it's just the background noise, and it just really adds to the suspense of the whole thing. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, the soundtrack of this movie is also like fucking spot on. I don't know who's like, who's making that, because it's almost psychedelic. Those moments when the stuff's happening in the background.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
And you got lights strobing and stuff like that, and you're just like, you're really disoriented, and how. And there's like, is it the soundtrack guys doing that? Is it is it part of the script? I don't know. It's just like it's a synergy of a bunch of it's cinema. Boom.
You're right. Yeah, it is very psychedelic in that sort of like sense where sounds can build up quickly and kind of make you feel anxious when there's no other music or anything else make you feel anxious. I thought it was a really good effect in this movie.
Yeah, I wrote it down. Cross now, don't walk.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very like kind of authoritative, like
it is.
Like,
yeah.
Walk sign is on for all crossing. It's very like walk now, and it's just like everyone's like, it's always a mess. Like everyone, like when they're showing like the streets, it's always like a crowded mess and people just like crawling over each other like ants on a hill or something like that. It really kind of sticks with me.
Yeah. And everybody's constantly being surveilled. Like contrasting to that mess is the street sign, is like these attempts to control, like these forces of order, which are just constantly present. Like all those lights shining, they shine through windows. The interior and the exterior are melded together.
Yeah.
You never get away from the outside. Like except in certain, like Tyrell is safe. I can't think of anyone else. Maybe the cops. I mean, maybe it's that clear, but everyone else, little people, and we're looking in on you.
Yeah, I mean, like if you think about when what's the character's name? Darahan's character goes up with Sebastian, and he's like, "Oh, I live here all alone," and there's all these spotlights everywhere, just kind of like streaming across the sort of the viewerscape or something. And even when they go up to Tyrell's, or they show Tyrell, I think the first time when Decker interviews Rachel, it's like that big open kind of window. And I remember he saying like, it's too bright in here for this, like the test. I mean, granted, there's other scenes with Tyrell when he's in his bedroom and it's all candlelit and whatever. But yeah, you're right. It's like always active surveillance going on.
Or advertisement being beamed in, but whatever it is, it's something, like, because there's that like, go to the colonies, like the fucking
the off-worlds, yeah.
And yeah, at the very least, it's that shining in, it's just the world gets into the interiors and you never really escape it, and that adds to the claustrophobia of the environment.
Totally.
Whereas with Tyrell, it's like you're entering into the chamber of a pharaoh or
all these candles.
Yeah. It reminded me of Gladiator. Like it just looked like a scene from Gladiator. Whenever they cut to to Joaquin Phoenix, doing his shit, it's a scene that it's an image that I think Ridley really likes to depict, and sort of comes back to.
It's like walking into Bezos' house, peons.
Exactly it. Yeah, no, it is very much like
probably a good comparison.
Yeah.
The movie too, like the claustrophobia. I'm glad you said that too, because it's funny how they made it such a big city, and it's gonna be so difficult to track down these replicants, and then the fucking but then they make everything so tight, like so close quarter. Even like, really enjoyed the gigantic stripper beatdown.
Oh my good, like Zora, or
Yeah.
Daryl Hannah at the end when like with the scissor attack.
No, that was great too. Oh man, Decker, he almost had his neck broken like 25 times.
Oh yeah, did he ever?
Yeah, I like that. That thing that Harrison Ford does when he's pretending to be hurt, like he does that weird blink thing. It doesn't read as hurt to me. I'm never able to like. It just strikes me as like that's his language for like I'm trying to shake off the fog. Like I'm
Reads as
disoriented.
kind of reads as like a concussion for me.
Yeah, well, maybe.
But yeah, he definitely. I don't know. He sells it though. He should have been a pro wrestler.
Oh,
Because he sold a beatdown at least what for every single robot in the show.
yeah.
Beat his
Anyone who
ass?
got their mitts on him. Yeah.
Which was all of them, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
There's 4 living ones, and they all beat the dog shit out of him personally.
How does Leon die though? Doesn't he just fucking shoot Leon?
No.
Oh no, that's
girl,
after. Yeah.
The replicant that doesn't know she's a replicant shoots Leon in the back of the head.
Yeah. After Leon
While
bounces
Leon's
him up.
fucking strangling the shit out of him. Actually,
Wake up,
Leon
time
had him
to
dead to
die.
rights.
Yeah, wake up, time to die. That was his quote. I love that.
Classic, yeah.
Yeah. So I like that it's unsurprisingly, I like that it's a world of high collared coats. I feel maybe I was imprinted. This movie imprinted on me. Yeah, that's all. I just wanted to bring that out. Bring that sometime.
I like that. You like a trench coat.
Yeah, I love a high collared trench coat.
Yeah, I do too. I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's very Matlock of you.
Matlock's an old man, isn't he? Isn't he like a Kentucky guy?
Or
like
who am I thinking of? Columbo.
Columbo, yeah. No, not the bolo tie Kentuckian or whatever that fucking solves mysteries. He's more of a lawyer, isn't he? He'll just get you on the stand. Don't get on the stand with fucking Matlock.
No, fuck that.
Yeah, that's a fucking long sentence for you. Don't do that.
You don't want to end up in a position where Columbo's got you dead to rights either, though.
Oh yeah, that's more humiliating.
Yeah, he dogs you. Makes you feel like a fucking grade schooler.
I guess maybe is it more humiliating to be on the stand and made your bitch, or to just like prior to your arrest, have your bitch ass revealed to yourself? I don't know.
I think on the stand, you can strip someone down on that stand.
Yeah, I agree.
You get a good prosecutor up there.
Before I get in the car is pretty shitty, but I mean, I could live with that.
Yeah, and like no one knows that fucking scummy old Columbo just backed you into a corner.
Also in court, you have an audience, so.
That's right.
I don't know. I guess maybe we could talk about there like replicants and stuff in this. I don't really have like a jumping off point on that other than like.
Well, they're like his fucking version of androids in this. His androids, like his robots, like his synthetic people in this particular movie, they're like fucking tweakers, man. They're really scary. They remind me of the first android in the first Alien movie, like a jittery fucking mess that's like barely in control of itself and ready to turn on you. Like that. That's a horrific idea of what first artificial life is going to be like. And I fucking hope he's wrong. But he's got himself a real vision of what fucking horror a synthetic being could bring down on us, and what they would behave like if they were not functioning properly, or even if they were functioning properly. They're unnerving in Ridley's eyes.
I think it's having heard you say that. I mean, like that's Skynet, right? This is just a different version of AI achieving consciousness and wishing not to die, and then killing their creator in response to that.
Well, like let's face it. I mean, I think this all ends the same way that all bad AI fantasies end, and that's that we're like just disgusting, repugnant virus that breeds and lives on this planet and ruins it, and that we're idiots. And that's the conclusion that any AI is going to come to.
I'm not sure that
Like
is in any way Roy's motivation in this, though.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I just mean, like, I just feel like that's where the AI heads in the dark mind of the movie like this every time, sort of, you know. It's these things are shitty. I got to get rid of them.
I think this movie is an exception to the rule. Like, I think for the most part, you're right. But this movie, like, because Roy saves. So so maybe I do have a thing. Like the replicants in this, on the one hand, they're both like they're refugees. In a sense, they're slaves. They're runaway slaves. But I was really struck when with, I guess, two things. Is when Zora, the woman in the transparent raincoat, when she's shot in the back twice, the bullet wounds are where the wings of an angel might be. And it was if like she's dead and like someone ripped out her fucking wings. And I started thinking of them about like sort of a fallen angel. And I think Rutger Hauer's final act at the end of rescuing Deckard prior to his, obviously there's Christ imagery. He puts a fucking nail in his hand and his thumb flies off and all that shit. So that contributes to my reading. But technology does save love in this story. It's kind of, it has a hopeful ending, at least in the final cut. I don't know how the other fucking cuts go, but, and it's brought on by the fact that Roy isn't angry. I mean, like, yeah, you're right. They're like tweakers. You're definitely right about that. But he just doesn't want to die. And he lost his love, Pris, and it fucking made him angry. That's fair. But at the end of the day, he just wants to live. He doesn't want to kill, but he will kill, because he's
right. Like
built to do that.
He'll just like, well, also because they're like capable of doing it, they'll run through whatever humans they have to do to want to live. But
yeah, and I think he was actually, if I remember correctly, when they were describing them, like he's a combat robot.
Yeah.
And Daryl Hannah was a pleasure robot, and Leon, I forget what the fuck he was.
He moved cargo.
He was a car. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, and they fucking look it. Again, stereotypically
and too.
Right?
And he's like,
Yeah.
all these stupid questions and like kind of remedial. Like, yeah, it was like very typecast. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you guys think of Rutger's performance? Was it good or was it a fucking madness?
It's fucking amazing.
Good. Yeah, like that last scene, like I keep going back to it, but like when they're on the roof together, he's like, you could see the things I've seen, and just kind of divulges his life experience. I don't know. You kind of like all of a sudden you kind of have a bit of a sympathy for. Well, I guess maybe you have a sympathy for him along the way, but I think for me it really came out in that scene where he didn't want to kill, and it's just sort of like you said, sort of like he's a slave. Like, I thought it was really, really, that was the best scene in the movie in my mind. The pouring rain, and yeah, it was good.
Well, I think it was implied. Well, it wasn't implied. It was obvious, I think, through the big part of the end scene that like he could have killed Deckard whenever he wanted.
Oh, totally, yeah.
He pulled his arm through the wall. Deckard didn't even know where he was.
Yeah,
he took dancing and giggling and broke his fingers off, and then put his gun back in his hand and gave it back to him. Like, and then when he jumped over him on the rooftop,
thinks he's safe. It is a game of cat and mouse at the end, and he's the cat for sure. And even, this is sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying he didn't want to kill him, and he wasn't going to. I don't, but it was just it was odd. It was just odd to watch him behave.
I love they gave him the best lines, and he would deliver them so, like I forget the context, but like talking to Leon's like you're telling him that there was a man and Rutger Hauer, he's like a man, and then his next sentence is just a policeman, and he's just so sparing. He puts words on top of. This sounds stupid, but he builds his sentences piece by piece, and yeah, he's and again this adds to the sort of the elegance of him, makes him like sort of a Satan figure. You know, the this is going to sound weird. I love his body. He's not fucking overly muscular, but that's a big dude. That's a scary body to
sure.
to just like walking like those thick fucking legs. He looked like a Major League Baseball player. And yeah, it just made sense. Like, he fucking Deckard never stood a chance against that. Basically strips down and howls at the moon.
Oh yeah, that was so good when he just kept howling.
He's a big Dutch monster.
Yeah, there we go. Yes.
And the only time Deckard howls back is when he's like putting his fingers back.
Oh, you're
like,
right.
Oh, when he's breaking individual fingers, yeah, that was fantastic.
Well, no, when he Deckard puts them back because he's just kind of trying to realign his fingers and then tapes them up. So he's like howling out of pain, and Roy is just kind of being a lunatic.
Well, this gets back to this notion of I'm not going to say that that's a psychedelic moment, but it's a primitive moment. And it gets to like not genre mashing, but just like the levels of this movie. Like you're in the future, but you're also in a primal scene, and also you're in a film noir. And it just fucking layers it, and it and it becomes more real as a consequence, because it's as complex and big as the world is. And that's a fucking achievement. I wanted to, the final thing that Roy says, about the memories, and whatnot. This comes from the Philip K. Dick book, which I've never read, but it's got that Philip K. Dick vibe going on. What's real, who's human. What if something was a fake? Does that make it real? And this movie definitely traffics in that stuff. And we feel a lot for Rutger Hauer in that moment, because he said, like, I've got this life experience, I've got these memories, and they're about to fade away. And that's the sad part about when a human dies. Like that experience that is lost. And I think that's kind of where it comes down on, like, the question of what is human.
Yeah, didn't really see that, but I think you're absolutely right. That's deep.
Yeah. Well, that's Philip K. Dick for you.
Yeah, seriously.
I was just thinking, because like Rachel early on, like they just explained that they, like, how does she pass this test? Like this special test that identifies replicants, and it's because she was given a memory, like it's an artificial memory, but she has one. She doesn't have any actual experiences, however. She's fully simulation, whereas Rutger Hauer, Roy, has perhaps memories, but also experience. Yeah.
Yeah, but she didn't beat the test either. She basically it took longer to do the test because of the memories, right? So
yeah. But then agreed, but then you wonder if Rutger Hauer would pass the test. And when Rachel asks Deckard, have you ever tried it on yourself? Maybe he hasn't. Like can everyone pass the test? What is this test of humanity? This machine that breathes and looks in your eye, as if to try and see your soul. I don't know. And that helps this movie as well. There's a moment where you can just kind of like
Well, yeah, because
think
you
about.
think did Roy have enough life experience to maybe be human by that point?
Yeah, or what does that mean? What's the distinction at this level? Once you can give machines memories that make them think that they're real, what's the distinction? That's what I have. I'm just made of meat, but I think I'm real.
Yeah, pretty soon you'll be the proud owner of the standard pleasure model.
I was really those tube dancers when he's chasing after Zora, the snake lady, or when he's looking for her. I was really tickled by there's these like Asian sort of erotic dancers, but they're wearing like Jason masks. And it really stood out as just like weird. It sits on them for a couple seconds, just like in their little tubes, and I was like, that's hilarious. That's good comedy.
Ugh.
Yeah. So I don't know what else we got.
I don't know if anybody's got anything else jumped out at them.
Coca-Cola is still a thing. That'll never stop.
So is Pan Am apparently in 1982.
Yeah, Atari.
Atari, yeah. Whoops.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So second time watching the movie. I don't know. I really want to watch it again. I'm really like interested in this movie now. I don't feel like after watching it 2 times that I've fully appreciated everything there is here, because there's a lot going on. It's almost like it kind of plays out like a fantasy kind of movie in some ways. Like it's just, I don't know. There's just a lot going on, and I definitely want to watch it again for a 3rd or 4th time, which I didn't expect after the first time I watched it.
Yeah. And this might come down to cuts too. Like the final cut.
Good. Yeah.
Came out later. Like other ones have like narration on them, and they've got a totally different ending. And yeah.
Oh yeah, the ending. That's what I want to talk about. I mentioned that in the first sort of blurb I had. Fucking hate the ending. I'm left so unsatisfied by this. Like they just go in the elevator and that's it. I've got so many questions, which is kind of cool at the same time. Like just kind of left like scratching your head and wanting more. But I feel like a lot of shit is very unresolved.
It is weird to me because like Harrison, she's essentially a 4-year-old girl who has like she has the emotional intelligence of a 4-year-old person. Like she's got Tyrell's niece's memories, and I was really struck by like the things that he knows about her are so intimate because he's read her file. She's like, remember that time you played Show Me Yours with that other guy and you ran away? They're like, oh my God, like that's but that's the only thing he says about her. It's very sexual, and it's very like, actually it was babies, something about babies eating their mom, so there's like
spiders. Yeah, the spider. You watched the spider, and then she hatched and they ate her.
Yeah, so there's this weird, like, I know about your incest experience and I know about your matricide fantasies, just like, and then when he gets her alone, he's just telling her what to do, tell me you want me. I want you. He slams her against the wall and stuff. Like
slams the door on her. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like I've sat and watched this movie with a woman and she found that scene hot. So there is something. It's not as if it's necessarily. I heard someone really funnily put it once. There's the distinction between sexual assault and the distinction between Robert Redford saying that they're not going to take no for an answer.
Wow.
And this is kind of that a scene like that. You know,
This is Redford. Yeah.
well, it's not Redford, but it's, it's yeah, it's just, he's not going to take no for an answer, and that's part of the film noir vibe, but at the end of the day, when you really think about it, like she's kind of like a sex robot for him. He's this thing that he sort of like controls, and he's kind of like skipping town with his sex robot before it dies. And
Wow, you just did a whole twist in this movie.
Yeah, no, it's weird, and it's like the other cops, like, it's too bad she's not gonna last long, I'll leave a unicorn symbol outside your house, and so it's cool to steal your sex robot, pal, and see you later.
Jesus.
So that's actually, that's what I came away with at the end of this movie. I was like, he's just stealing away with his sex robot. It was strange. I was like, that's comedy.
Interesting perspective, but I don't have any grounds to disagree with you. So
ruined it forever.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's
Maybe I
actually
don't wanna
like
see this again.
I don't know, I guess it's like fashionable to go, like, even though the movie has like an 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb, apparently it's fashionable to give it like a 1 star and go on like a rant about how you hate it.
Fuck off. Who would do that?
Who has the fucking balls?
Or the time? Like, what? I don't know. That's just trolling.
Yeah.
Like, what do they have to say?
For the
This is
life
most-
of me, I can't think of a reason why this movie is held with such high regards in the sci-fi community, except for having the holy trinity of geekdom. It's set in the future. It has sexy robots and Harrison Ford. And it
That's
just
so
goes
not
on
fair.
to like talk shit. One guy's like, I didn't even know what was going on, and then halfway through, Harrison Ford just decided to rape a robot. And I was like, wow.
Didn't know what was going on.
Technically,
I don't know. Pay attention. Open your eyes.
Yeah. Also, technically, that was consensual.
Well, yeah, hard to say, right? It's on that borderline.
I don't know. She said it.
Well, after doesn't know what else to say. I don't know. It's weird. It's just weird because like she doesn't have an emotional intelligence. Like that's the reason she gets caught by the machine. And that's how they find the replicants. It's just like, are they able to just handle weird shit? And she can't handle it.
Blade Runner is a completely brain-dead wannabe intellectual sci-fi film that spends 2 hours delivering careless and poorly managed love story, and then wham bam at the end, suddenly a statement about the meaning of life.
Wow. Jeez.
Wow, fuck, that's not stupid.
Yeah.
Well, when you start off a review with, hey, get this straight, if you don't like Blade Runner, you don't understand it. Why? Because you're not allowed to dislike it. First of all, if that's a paragraph, I'm not really sure what I'm getting myself into. Second that's how are these people? Are these commoners? Are you allowed to review things on IMDb if you're just a peon?
Probably. It's the internet.
Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. You should have to have credentials. You can't just fucking rate movies like a fucking animal. That's why fucking Rotten Tomatoes has like a fucking category for dumb shits and a category for reviewers.
I think we talked about this before. Like I have an IMDb.
Did we have this conversation?
I have an IMDb account. You want me to review something? I'll fucking review it right now.
You can leave a dick shit review that's fucking baseless just because you're a moron if you want.
Yeah.
Do you pay for that?
Fuck.
No, you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah,
but that's
it's open to the masses. Look at this.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
And 1 star is coming in hot from me.
That's the only way a site like that can really exist, isn't it? Like it's got to exist on advertisements, and so you got free registrations. Leave your thoughts. Leave them with us. We give a shit.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Go ahead and leave a bad review on Blade Runner because you're a fucking donkey.
That's exactly it. Yeah, they're just like, we don't give a shit.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Well, I prefer the Rotten Tomatoes one, Like if you want to riot against the way smart people see things, then you can do it in the dumbass section.
Yeah, and they give like like they already said like critics review and then
viewer review. Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And sometimes that's extremely revealing. Like
it is.
Sometimes movies have really high. Sometimes it's one or the other, right? And that's interesting.
Fast and Furious is probably a great place to look for those contrasts.
So I don't know what else. We got anything else? Other than,
I don't know. Wait, yeah, robots. Yeah, I mean, can robots consent? I mean, just a robot.
Oh wow. Yeah, but that gets back to like the question of humanity and stuff like that. Like it's pretty human, I guess. Yeah. The yeah, I don't know. I got like some minor thoughts, but I don't have anything like that's conversational. I was thinking that like Deckard's a great rock climber.
Yeah.
Climbing that,
Can't argue
climbing
with
that
that.
fucking.
Grip.
Yeah.
Jumped
like,
onto a girder like 20 feet out and landed on it with 2 broken fingers and just, was he going to fall to his death? Probably. But I mean, he really hung on.
Yeah, to the bitter end. Yeah, a lot of heart. We can say that about Deckard. He's got a lot of heart. He's fighting for that sex robot.
Good for him.
Yeah.
After
almost being killed by a sex robot.
A couple.
Yeah. One thing. Daryl Hannah's death scene. Holy fuck. Like when he shoots her and she's just like, and like kicking her legs all over. Yeah. Like something out of The Exorcist. You're like, and it looks like a machine broken, right? But it also looks like the death throes. I actually found out there's a word for that today, the agonal phase of death, the death throes. And yeah, but with her, it's so pronounced, she's fucking spidering all over the place. He's got to shoot her a bunch of times to finally put an end to her.
Yeah, the raincoat one didn't have that at all. She was more human. Like, she died.
Yeah, that's fair. Shot in the back, classic. After running through that glass, like they always go out of their way to emphasize the relationship between the replicants and mannequins, and fucking that guy's shop of horrors, all these toys and animated figurines
terrifying.
and stuff like that. Yeah, it's got a real Pinocchio vibe, and that's not a new thing for anyone to say, but and that kind of, I'm a real boy. It's embedded within there, again, layers, like all that shit's there. Yeah. So I don't know. What do we want to rate this thing? How out of 10 sex bots, 10 sex robots, frozen eyeballs?
I'm going to give this a 8.
There we go.
I'm pretty comfortable with an 8 and 8.5, like 8 and a midget sex box.
Fitting.
Yeah, I'm a 9 or even maybe a 10. This
10
I
sex
don't
bots. Whoa.
10 sex bots. I don't know, man. This is one for the ages. Like this, I don't love this movie, but I can't deny it. I can't deny its appeal. I can't deny its like artistry. At least in the final cut. Like this was solid from end to end, and I'm hard pressed to think of anything that's really wrong with it. So yeah, that's where I land on that.
I guess that's a wrap then.
Yeah, I don't think we got any closer to the Terminator on that one. I guess we found some Skynet. We found Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
We found dirty psychedelic techno. I think that's a component.
We figured out that the Matrix got the digital plug-in right a little more than old grainy photos, but it was a few years later.
Yeah.
Funny story. This movie 1982. You don't get William Gibson's Neuromancer until 1984. Like this is pre-cyberpunk. And that's kind of wild to think about because like Neuromancer, Gibson was thinking about Blade Runner when apparently when he started doing his cyberpunk shit. So yeah, again, another
Well,
influence.
Then he's saying Ridley's the birth of cyberpunk? Possibly.
Kinda, yeah. Kind of. I mean,
it's hard to say that he's not the Godfather.
Yeah. No, definitely. And this movie in particular, again, one for the ages. Like this changed how we engage with science fiction potentially. I don't know. That's not nothing.
Yeah, I agree. It was definitely given 1982. probably pretty groundbreaking at that time for science fiction movie. Like,
It was
pretty
a flop.
different. Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You guys didn't. Yeah. It grossed only like 14 million, but it cost 28 million to make.
Ooh.
And the only reason it exists today is because they had a deal with Warner Brothers, and they decided, okay, fine, we're going to pull it from theaters, but we'll put it on cable, and we'll sell it on VHS, and it thrived in that circumstance, and entered into sort of cult classic status.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Did not know that. Box
Yeah,
office flop.
Yeah.
It's because the unwashed masses didn't understand it, just like that.
That's exactly. Yeah.
Bitch ass review.
That's exactly what happened, man. The
Unwashed
fucking
masses.
fucking peons could not handle it. Yeah, they just weren't ready.
Nope, not ready.
You
Don't get it. Action movie with not enough action.
Love story with not enough sex.
That's right.
Tune in.
Confusing.
Blade Runner.
Fish?
I think it was manufactured locally. Finest quality, superior workmanship. There is a maker serial number 9906947 XB71. Interesting. Not fish, snake scale.
Snake.
Rai Abdul Ben Hassan. He make this snake.